to function. Joining us now, Democratic Congressman of Virginia, Subramanyam. Suhas, thank you for joining us. Congressman, I think the question is, I think they have considered what the impact of mass resignations will be, because they seem to be fine with downsizing government at whatever cost. But you were at the Treasury Department yesterday, part of a very large protest. Talk about what you saw there and what it might portend for the future as the Trump administration continues these kinds of efforts.
Sure. You know, what I saw wasn't just federal workers protesting. It was everyday people who understand the impact of losing the federal workforce would have on them and their families. And so, you know, I have a lot of federal workers in my district. Yeah. We had a town hall a couple of days ago, but it was actually mostly people who are not federal workers who are worried about their food safety. They're worried about their benefits if they're veterans, just worried about our country's ability to function in general without federal workers. And so I think everyone is starting to see this, starting to feel the impact of what could happen.
I think the reminder that sometimes people need when they talk about government, which is some big faceless entity, is that it's made up of people, right? So talk about the conversations that you're having with members of your community who are federal workers saying, I'm just still trying to pay my mortgage, feed my family, go to work every day.
There was one woman who is a nuclear physicist, and she actually is going to leave her job. And how do you replace a nuclear physicist? There's very few people with her expertise, with her experience in government, and a very critical role. Think about that times thousands and thousands of jobs all across the country, all across the world sometimes, like in certain cases. We're going to be having a brain drain in the federal government, and this, I call it the dumb sizing, not the downsizing of federal government.
You know, your fellow Virginian, I think it was Mark Warner who said this, that the government at this point is only funded through March 14th, and the appropriations don't include a massive buyout package. I mean, is this thing even firm?
No, it's not. And that's what I keep telling people is don't trust it. Like, make sure the money is there first.
And it's not just because it's the Trump administration and it seems kind of chaotic. Like, there's reasons not to trust it.
Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, we don't have the appropriations there. But more importantly, we don't want people leaving who have really good expertise in government. And if you leave, you know, we don't know if we can take care of you through the end of that term. And so we're telling people to stay. If you're planning to leave anyway, you know, make the decision for yourself. But really, a lot of people with expertise that we really need and who can be in the government for a long time should stay and consider their options.
Yeah, that is a point that I've heard repeatedly from folks who are nervous about what this kind of move does. I've also heard rumblings, though, from the Hill that this battle over money that's been appropriated by Congress now being ignored or frozen or gotten rid of altogether could mean something more for the larger government funding fight that we have in mid-March. Are you hearing conversations among your colleagues about Democrats not wanting to work together with Republicans on funding the government because congressional appropriations seem to be ignored anyway?
Yeah, you know, it depends on what kind of package they put together, first of all. But, you know, right now, they're not showing a willingness to work with us. And so, you know, it's a two-way street. We've said from the very beginning, we'll be bipartisan. We want to get things done and work together. But, you know, right now, this is a time where they are being openly hostile towards really a lot of our priorities. And so if they want our vote, they're going to have to earn it.
And right now, it seems like Democrats are not inclined to do that.
Not really, no, not right now. But, you know, we'll see if they change their tune. We'll see if things change. Certainly, I don't want a government shutdown. That affects my area in Virginia deeply because that's a recession for our economy.
Yeah, I've covered shutdowns before. I've spent a lot of time in areas of Virginia in your district. It definitely keenly hits there and across the country. Democratic Congressman Subramanyam of Virginia, also a Tulane alumni, I have to say.
Oh, yeah.
Always good. Roll wave. Thank you for